Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another First Impressions video. In today's First Impressions video, we are taking a look at the Springfield Armory TRP operator. And before we get this video started, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to this video's sponsor. This video's sponsor is, of course, Air Venturi. They make a wide variety of PCP air guns. I've been taking a look at the Avenge X, which is more of their tactical 25 caliber PCP air gun. And they have a variety of other options, including wood stocks if the tactical stock is not for you. They have extra air tanks that are going to give you a little bit more volume, a little bit more shots, and you have little rotary magazines in there. These things are pretty freaking awesome. I've been shooting it at the range and having a freaking blast. They even offer other things like air compressors to fill the tanks up yourself at your house. They can be found at a variety of different air gun retailers out there. Pick one up and thank them for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it. This is a grail gun for me. I'm pretty excited to take a look at this. I would say, man, you know what? I'm gonna save everything I'm gonna say for this review, because if I say it all now, there's no point in even freaking watching this. But it's gonna be quite a raving review on one of my favorite 1911s of all time, the TRP Operator Full Rail. This gun was not provided by Springfield Armory. I paid for this gun almost completely full retail, and I have been wanting one for almost 8 years now. I mean, I have loved these 1911s for a very, very long time. I came across where I picked this up at, which was the Armories. They have a few different shops down in Florida, and they had one listed for $18.49. These days, they are unobtainium, and that price was actually pretty freaking incredible, especially when you consider that the other places I was seeing these guns at online were like $2,300 and all around there. And I know the cost of these guns because, of course, I work at a gun shop, so I can see distributor costs. $18.49 is really right on the money for where these guns are going to be going for right now. And they didn't pay me or anything like that. I paid them for the gun, but I just want to mention them because they were just a great shop to deal with. So if you go to the Armories online, let them know I sent you, whatever. It doesn't matter to me, but they were very patient with me. I had to trade a few guns and sell a few guns to get this particular 1911. They were able to hold it on the side for me. So they did a lot of great stuff, and I spoke to them directly on the phone. They were just really nice folks over there. So that was really awesome, and just I say all that to let you guys know that, again, I'm into this out of my own wallet. I did not get this from Springfield or anything like that. I'm going to start this out with a pretty bold statement. I would say that currently this is the best production 1911, the best 1911 that you could buy under the $2,000 price point, without a doubt. I don't care what the company is, I don't care what they're pushing, under $2,000, this is it right here. Don't even hesitate, don't watch the review, doesn't matter, buy it. That's about where I'm at with this thing. But the operator has been around for a long time, and this was actually the first 1911, production 1911, to ever have a rail back in the 90s. And Springfield came out with this pistol for the FBI HRT program. Not a fan of the FBI or the HRT. However, that does let you know that they did do substantial testing and evaluating of this particular 1911 to not make it a match range pistol, but to make it a combat 1911. And that was really how the TRP was designed from the ground up. TRP is going to stand for Tactical Response Pistol. And, you know, I think it really just kind of just emulates that, you know, from its very soul. And that's pretty cool. But the full rail is so iconic on this gun. In fact, I really don't know why anybody nowadays would prefer the TRP without the full rail. I mean, if you're going with a TRP, this is it. Why would you not go with the full rail? Anything that's not the full rail, it just looks like a standard 1911. Is it awesome? Is it excellent? Is it still reliable? Yes, 100%. But if you're going with the TRP, God, that full rail, man. Oh my God. So they railed the entire frame out to the end of the slide, and they actually shrouded your guide rod underneath there, and they gave you a full-length dust cover on the bottom. That is excellent. I believe the original reason that they did this for the full rail was to actually accommodate a variety of massive, big Chungus weapon lights from back in the 90s, so different departments could still carry this pistol with their insane weapon lights on the bottom. Nowadays, really anything is going to fit just fine, but if you have a Surefire X300, let's go ahead and throw that on there real quick. It is very tight. They Cerakote these frames, so usually I'll have to just kind of hold it down and press it down into place, and whew, man, dude, you could move that a little bit further forward and have it completely flush, but I'll tell you right there, man, that's a good looking gun. That is a good looking gun. I dig that quite a bit. So you got the full length rail, you have a bull barrel, and that is also a full length guide rod. So you're going to have not a two-piece, but a single piece full length guide rod with that match bull barrel, no bushing, and all of the frame and the slide and a lot of the other internal parts that really matter are forged high carbon steel. But of course, typical to really a lot of 1911s under the $2,000 price point, a lot of Springfield 1911s, you do have some MIM parts in there. Now, I in particular don't really mind MIM parts. It is what it is. If it is done correctly, it's just fine. You really don't have any issues with them. The sights on the TRP I like to call kind of combat target sights. So you do have an adjustable rear sight, but unlike other 1911s that are out there, like my Springfield Range Officer in 9mm, this is much more low profile, much more tactical, if you will. It's not going to have a lot of sharp edges. It does not really have a light spring back there where it's jumping all over the place with just a slight touch, and it does not dig into your hands to rack the slide. So for sights, these are of course excellent. Now, the only thing for me personally that would make this even better is if they had a high visibility front sight and then a blacked out rear sight. That is just my preference, but some people may have a different opinion. Springfield does make this as a Series 70 1911. All that means is there's not going to be an additional firing pin safety in the slide. It's a more traditional 1911 action. Is it shooting a lot less? Make it or break it? No, not really, in my opinion. I have held a Series 70 next to a Series 80, and then also with Kimber's kind of in the middle of the road option. Do the triggers feel slightly different? Yes, but you know, I don't know. I don't know that it really makes a ton of difference for me in my case. Now, if you are somebody that likes to tinker with the triggers in 1911s with a little bit of polishing, I have heard that it's slightly easier to modify Series 70's triggers rather than Series 80 triggers. So take that for what you will. As far as the trigger out of box, I heard in other reviews that they did not like the trigger that much. I don't know what gun they got, but as far as the weight of the trigger, it is very light. You got a little bit of take up there, crisp break, and then you reset right on that wall again, and you're good to go. Is it the lightest 1911 trigger I've ever felt in the world? No, but it is pretty freaking light, and I have absolutely no complaints about it. Probably one of the most iconic things other than the full-length rail on the TRP has always been these grips. So these are actually wood grips that have like epoxied on grip tape. So they are, this entire gun, as far as the grip of it, it is the most aggressive 1911 grip I have ever felt. Nowadays, Springfield is actually including not only these traditional TRP grips, but they do have a bluish gray G10 option as well. This gun at the range was excellent for me. Not just for me, but the FF Pocket Gunsmith and my other buddy that was out at the range with me, we all loved the grip. I had no issue, even with it being a cold, dry range day, of my hands, you know, splitting open or anything like that. It is aggressive, be ready for that, but I love these grips. This is going to be a carry pistol in exactly the format that you see here. The only time that I am probably going to be swapping out these grips are when I start to carry the pistol. And in that case, I'm probably going to go with some really nice dark hardwood grips because I think that's going to go well. The only reason for this is not even necessarily as much for my skin, although that is absolutely going to be one of the reasons why. This rubbing up against your skin on your waistband all day long is not great, but also my clothing. I was putting it on my shirt just as a tester, and in about like 4 swipes back and forth, there was already almost a hole in the shirt. So if you're planning on carrying this gun at all, the grips are gonna have to be swapped out unless you want to be buying new shirts every day. The other reason for this is I fear that if you were to carry this and you had shirt lint and whatever little pieces going in here every single day, it's actually going to start ruining the texture, which I really want to keep for when I'm running the gun in a different role. I don't want to ruin these grips. And also, I could not find these grips anywhere else. I was looking all over the place to just find them. If one of you guys know who makes these grips, please let me know down in the comment section, because I've seen ones that are semi like it with like burned in stippling into wood grips, but I have never seen these grips in particular available anywhere else other than the TRP. Now you do have just excellent 20 lines per inch checkering on the front strap. This should be a standard. If you're doing front strap checkering, this should be it. Don't even think about any other options. 20 lines per inch, do that. Call it a day. This is the best there is as far as front strap checkering. It grabs the hand exactly where it should. There is no sharp lines at the top like I was experiencing on the Kimber. You have a really nice smooth section there, and it just digs right into that 20 lines per inch checkering. It is excellent. You also have great checkering on the back, and you do have an integrated flared magwell in the bottom. Now, in this case, you do have a lock, and this is my only gripe with the pistol. The reason there is a lock on the TRP is because of California. Not really any other reason than this is one of the very few guns that is still on the California handgun registry, and for that reason it has to be quote-unquote compliant with the registry to remain on there. So for a business choice, whatever other reason, they decided to include and keep including that integrated key lock. If you turn that, the hammer won't cock back, the grip safety won't work, the entire gun is locked into position. I will be probably changing that in the future. If you remove your mainspring housing, you can get a new mainspring housing that also still includes the integrated flared magwell, and just simply swap it out. You will need a full-size new spring and detent setup in the mainspring housing in order to do that, but it's going to be a pretty even switch. So if you want to swap that out, you can. Now for how it's shot. Oh my God. God, I love this gun. It was one of the best shooting 1911s I've ever experienced, and I think that was because of the added weight up in the front of the gun. I was shooting plus P 45 ACP critical duty ammunition, and it felt like 9mm. 9mm standard ammunition. It was that soft shooting, which I've never really experienced with any of my other 1911s. They have all been pretty snappy with that ammunition, but that tells you just kind of what this gun is capable of. Speaking of critical duty plus P, I ran not only critical duty, but other Winchester hollow points, which are very large open hollow points. This ran them 100% reliably. I had about 25 different types of magazines. This ran them all. I had 0 reliability issues. I was only at about 330 rounds for the first range day, but from round 1 to 330, it was flawless. Absolutely no issues, absolutely no weird things, no break-in. This gun ran like there was a fire underneath it right out of box. You do get 2 standard 8-round mags out of the box. Not really a huge deal here. You got a nice base plate on the bottom. They're going to sit about flush. They were reliable. They look like the same mags that come with SIG 1911s. I would assume these are like Metgars or something like that. But I also ran it with the Wilson Combat 10-round mags, which sometimes are a little bit problematic depending on the 1911. These also ran flawlessly. Absolutely no issues. So this gun was just stellar at the range. And anyone that I handed it to pushed out, shot rounds downrange, and an immediate smile went on their face, because with the grip and the way that this pushes recoil back in just the perfect way, this thing is a laser beam at the range. It is absolutely excellent. And I love the fact that they have mixed kind of like a match gun with a still reliable gun. So many times you have these crazy tight tolerances, and then all of a sudden, as soon as the gun gets carboned up, it does not run, and you're getting maybe 100 rounds, and all of a sudden you start having weird, finicky problems. This thing was gross at the end of that range day, and it was getting dry, it was cold, and this thing just chugged along, no problems whatsoever. It was like a GI 1911 as far as reliability, but you have that same match grade accuracy. I don't know how much more I could say about this TRP Operator Full Rail, other than just, if you can see one, if you can find one, just grab it. Now, Springfield, this is a new production gun. They have started pushing these out again. I'm not sure if they're going to continue that. Again, I don't have any relationship with Springfield, so you might have to search around. I would probably say that 1,800 is about where you want to be at. Anything over $2,000, man, that is very high for this gun. I think that's like $600 over MSRP. So just keep that in mind when you're looking around for the TRP. I will be showcasing holster options for this in a very, very near future video, so stay tuned for that as well. If you guys have any other questions about this gun or anything else on the channel, please throw them down below in the comment section, and I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, head up to the description, check out the ways to support the channel, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.